Thank you, thank you. I see you, Philemon. You're right on the track. So please, if you could speak to the delegates, please. I welcome Philemon Molekwa, who is the coordinator of this event.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Max Chocha. Thanks for the warm invitation. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, participants from all over the world, delegates from all over the world. We are so excited to host you today. After the long wait, finally, we meet each other. Dear esteemed Madam, our today's guest, Madam Stella Vuzo, the Information Officer, Department of Global Communication, United Nations Information Center. Dear Mr. Togoran Mavula, Private Secretary of 4th President of United Republic of Tanzania. Madam Rebecca Muna, Executive Director of Forum CC. Madam Haikaili Ara Kaona, Coordinator of Tanzania Recyclers Association. And the last speaker, Mr. Badu Juma Rajab, Program Associate of United Nations Global Compact. Good afternoon once again. Oh, this is Philemon Muleka, the coordinator of this #1 International Youth Event, Tanzania International Model United Nations. I'm warmly welcome all to invite to this virtual session. We got a number of participants from different parts of the world. We got participants from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania mainland, Zanzibar, Uganda, Kenya. We get participants from different parts of the world, and another participants are almost about to join. So to make it shortly to everybody, Tanzania, maybe I can continue. Mr. Max, should I continue? Mr. Max, the moderator.
Please continue, Mr. Philemon. You have some few minutes, like 1 minute, just wrap up, and then we can go to the next person.
All right. This is Tanzania International Model of United Nations, whereby it is organized annually by Youth of United Nations Association Tanzania. We as Youth of United Nations Association Tanzania, we are organization and a United Nations Association, whereby we are basically dealing with youth from secondary schools and universities, colleges, and institutes. We got number of clubs in secondary schools, more than 250, 100 clubs, but also we got number of clubs in universities, college, and institutes, more than 56 clubs. Our aim, our main purpose, we as UNA, is to bring closer youth to United Nations. So we get a number of activities or number of programs that we as youth, we are doing, but among of the main program that we are annually doing is this Tanzania International Model United Nations. It's a simulation of United Nations General Assembly, the same as United Nations member state, they meet annually in United Nations headquarters. Also this, we as youth also have a platform from different parts of the world to come together and discuss some pressing issues, some trending issues, and come up with the resolution. So I can be Tanzanian or I can be Nigerian, but I'll be delegated to represent another country for the benefits of that country. So this is the 23rd event. Since 1997, we've been organizing this Model of United Nations. So it's a big platform for everybody to join, because we as UNA, we are the bleeding institution. Through this Model of United Nations, we've been producing number of international leaders, government leaders, national and international leaders. So it's a great platform to invite all of you to join this wandering session. As we know that this year Model of United Nations was expected to take place in Arusha. We call it the Geneva of Africa, from 23rd of March to 3rd of April in East Africa Community Conference Hall. And we opened the application by 23rd of December, and we got thousands of applicants. But our main target was to get around 200 participants from international countries, from inside of our country, mainland and Zanzibar also. And we are so excited because in this application we find more than 50%. Most of them were new; they never experienced on this international platform or international events. So we're proud to have new participants, so that we ensure that our targets have reached to the level that we are satisfied. But also we receive number of, because this is equal for anybody. So we receive different uh, people with disability, people from different countries, people from different tribes, regarding of the qualification that we as youth of United Nations we need. So we get more than 23% of international participants, but also get more than 76% of local participants. In this year model of United Nations, we expect to have we had a theme which unite all of us, we as youth, youth rule in creating the future we want. You know that when we were kids, when we were a child, our family, our parents, they always say that, what do you want to be when you become older, or when you become a man or a woman? They never ask you as youth at the right time, what do you want to be, do at yourself. That's why we come with this theme, youth role in creating the future we want. But also, as we understand, also we as United Nations, we are in the last 10 years of SDGs. We call it a century. We call it decades of action, United Nations decades of action. So with this last 10 years of decades of action, we as youth, can we have do we hope to achieve or to get target to those sustainable development goals? So that's why we as youth, we have to know that we have to create the future that we want. But United Nations, we know that they cannot do it alone. They need to inspire us, they need to connect us, youth from different parts, without leaving no one behind. And we had four thematic areas to be discussed in this TIM1: the involvement of youth in circular economy, that basically goes to Sustainable Development Goals number 13, but also SDG number 3, engagement of youth in GBV and Serachiara, but also youth engagement in decent work and employment, which cut across SDG number 8, and the last, youth engagement in civic participation. But we are all aware that due to the occurring of this pandemic, coronavirus disease, which affects almost every country in the world, we had to make difficult decision of postpone this Tanzania International Model United Nations for the light of the public health, but also it's our responsible to take care of the health of our participants. That's why we made a difficult decision to postpone this ceremony. And I would like to make it clear that Tanzania International Model of United Nations has not been cancelled. We've been just postponed. We just postpone until the situations come to the normal level. And we value all of our participants from different parts of the world. We value local participants and international participants. And let me tell you something, that for the case of international participants, most of them, they had they take flight tickets, and most of them round trip. They made payment for the flight tickets. You can imagine how they can be affected. But thanks to my organizing committee, we made some decision to ensure that those international participants, we send them the letter to their flight companies to make their tickets pending or reserve until the situation comes. That means that the physical TIMON will be heard when the situation comes. And good enough that those flight companies, they allow to take pending or to take reserve of those flight tickets of our international delegates. But also we value our local participants, our local delegates, who most of them are from universities of different countries. Though in our country, Tanzania, they have been allowed some gathering and social activities, but most of them are coming from universities, institutes, and college, and most of them have started. So we want to ensure that when we announce a new date of this TM on the Model of United Nations, should be equal to those local participants, but also to international participants. And as we know that most of international participants, their country, they are also in lockdowns. So until they are in good situation, we can announce the new date of Tanzania International United Nations. So Don't be afraid, or don't be have a worry that maybe that team will not be held. No, team will just postpone. It has not been cancelled. When the situation comes around August or September, we are going to hold. By saying these few words, we have decided that we had four thematic areas that to be discussed in this TMON, but we know that most of things have been affected. So that's why we come with this idea of finding how those thematic areas that to be discussed in TMON have been affected from coronavirus. That's why we come with this idea of coming with vital session to discuss how this thematic area have been affected. So as a road to our Tanzania International Model of United Nations. So we hope that with this dialogue, we hope to come up with great ideas that can add up toward the obtaining great Tanzania International Model United Nations resolution. By saying that, I would like to invite all of you. I'm so excited. I'm linking my lips on the prospect of the conversation that we are going to have. Thank you so much. And I would like to appreciate for all speakers and all guests that have been attending to this great Tanzania International Model United Nations visual session. Congratulate, and I hope we're going to have a great impact for this that we're going to do. Thanks, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Coordinator Mr. Philemon Mwalekwa. That was an inspiring session. Thank you very much. We are happy, and thank you for your firm standing output that we are going to have the event eventually. So we are very honored for that. And now, before wasting much more time, I would like to welcome you all again, once again. And now it's time that I bring to you the chairperson of UNA, Youth of United Nations Association, the organization that is going to be hosting out this whole event. So with all those few remarks, I would love to call upon Ms. Hortensia Nuhu, who is the chairperson of Youth of United Nations Association, to also give you a warm welcome to the event and a warm welcome to you now. Welcome, Ms. Hortensia Nuhu. Well, I think the chairperson is currently facing some few technical issues. I remember telling you that we'll be having guest speakers today, and I am saying that our dear mother, Madam Stella Vuzo, from United Nations Information Center of Tanzania. She's currently with us here today. So first of all, I would like to thank her for having taken her time to join us in this brief meeting. But we also appreciate her efforts of making sure that she pushes forward a youth agenda. I would love to call upon Madam Stella Vuzo to come and speak to us as our first guest today. Please, Madam Stella Vuzo, karibu sana.
Asante. Hello. How are you? I hope you can all see me. I don't know if you can see. Can you see me? Hi. How are you? It's a pleasure to join you, and I congratulate, thanks so much for having me on this platform. I congratulate the organizers of this event, the Youth of United Nations Association in Tanzania, led by Philemon Mweleka, who is coordinating, and also the chair, Hortensia Nuhu, for leading the youth in Tanzania through this platform, which also engages partners to speak about the effect of COVID-19 on the involvement of youth, in particular in the circular economy paradigm. I'm very happy that we have youth also from around the world. You're very welcome. I would say it's very wise of you that you have decided to spend your time wisely to convene this webinar. Today is a Saturday. You would have decided maybe to do something different, but I see that you have identified also key players in the sector, in the climate change and environment sector, to come and speak to you or speak with you in detail about the circular economy paradigm. We're talking here about reusing, recycling, and issues like that. So I want to recognize the presence of partners, including Ms. Rebecca Muna, the Executive Director of Forum for Climate Change, Forum CC. You're very welcome, and I hope that you will have a good moment with the youth. I would like to recognize also Haikael Kaona, the coordinator of Tanzania Recyclers Association, TARA, and our very own young person who is leading by example, and at the same time working for the UN Development Program, the Global Compact. This is none other than Badru Juma Rajab. I welcome all of you, to enlighten the young people about, the circular economy, issues around recycling, reusing, and any other, pertinent issues that you would find useful for young people to know now. It is very important that in times of crisis, such as this coronavirus disease, COVID-19, that we have a forward-looking, perspective or focus. Young people need to find a way to move on and focus on the future, and in finding long-term solutions. We need to lead people to start thinking again about the Sustainable Development Goals. Corona has been in the minds, the coronavirus disease has been in the minds of people for a long time, but it's not the end of the world. I think young people in your numbers, you can help people to refocus and bring back, bring them back to start thinking about the agenda that we have for the next 10 years. And this is the Sustainable Development Goals. I congratulate you all for following the guidelines that have been provided by WHO and by your respective governments for protecting yourselves against coronavirus disease. I think you can know now that the guidelines were mainly hand washing etiquette, they're maintaining a social distance and wearing masks when need be. And observing these measures is really what has enabled you and me to be here today, safe from corona virus infection. So you are encouraged, not just by myself, but I believe also from the United Nations, to continue following these guidelines, even if, because even after COVID-19 comes to an end, we still need to wash our hands, we still need to observe this etiquette. It's not the end of the world. We still have other, challenges in our world. We have TB, we have, all the others, cholera still, hanging around in some African states. I think the bottom line is that we should continue with the kind of manners that we have acquired as a result of COVID-19 in the years to come. It is also important to continue to follow the guidelines until such a time when respective authorities, and here I'm talking about WHO and respective governments, confirm that the deadly COVID-19 virus has found a cure and that it has disappeared completely. Because remember, this is a virus, it can bounce back and it can affect us at any time. It can, resurface again, since then that's the nature of the virus. And since we do not know when the end of this virus is going to be, we will continue to have or to face the effects of COVID-19. for a long time, maybe. And looking back, when COVID-19 first struck, it was a huge blow to the economies of many countries in the world. It seemed like everything had frozen. People, young and old, nobody had a solution about this virus. And this is because this is the first time that it had struck. So there was literally no background information about this virus, and there was little known. And immediately we saw that most states initiated a lockdown, which directly affected the economy. And there was a lot of misinformation circulated. There was not immediate, there were no immediate answers. And we know that the United Nations has led countries to, to understand, to respond better towards this virus through the leadership of WHO. And I would just like to reiterate here that the effect of COVID-19 goes beyond the circular economy that we are discussing here today. It's important to look at the circular economy, but also look at all the other dimensions that are happening around the world. Of course, young people, you have been very much affected, and we've seen reports from the UN, which you can also utilize, indicating that unemployment has become low because most people have been affected by the lockdown. These are businesses, industries, and offices. Just take an example of tourism, the rangers and all those flights, all the travel, agencies and the hotel bookings have all been affected. And this means that young people have been affected. So even if you would like to do your recycling or, to do something that will support, the development of economies, it's a bit tricky now because the end result is that it's on a slowdown in terms of the economy. And so youth definitely have been affected. And we've all seen that during this time when coronavirus disease has struck, the most important things that came out that were being used everywhere around the world was food, hand sanitizers, face masks, tissue papers, and energy. It's a weird mix. But on the hand sanitizers, I know we've all seen the small bottles, and I would like to challenge you as you discussed today, whether you're thinking about how you're going to recycle all those small bottles, or are they going to end up in the bin? We need to start thinking of plastics as a resource and not as a waste. The face masks, are they all going to end in the dustbins? Are we thinking about the schools that are going to reopen soon? Is it an opportunity for young people to look at, opportunities for employment, for example, to prepare face masks for children in their different ages, standard 1, standard 2, until standard 7 to get all this. So I think as you discussed today, you will see and realize, you need to come up with the answers. You're also part of the solution. Nobody has the solution, not older people, not younger people. Younger people, you can come up now and show direction of how things should be done. Don't fear, you need to just wake up and see if there's anything that you can do. It's very important that you do it now, because this could be an opportunity for you to innovate. For instance, I have seen so many young people innovating machines, hand washing machines from recycled tins and materials. This is good, but we need to think more of how we're going to help people within our communities. And that means developing products and services that are going to help people to be employed, but also to rebuild the community. In the UN, we are saying we are building back better, and we're encouraging you to join that campaign. With regards to the model UN, I'm very happy that at least you're convening these webinars. As you know, the model United Nations General Assembly is an education simulation of the UN General Assembly and how it works. And what you're doing now is exactly what is going to happen in September. The UN General Assembly will be online for the first time ever. The Secretary General sent letters to the member states inviting them to that online session. So it's very interesting how the world is developing out of COVID-19. Imagine the UN General Assembly going online. That means that what you're doing is exactly what is going to happen. And this is all because of the effects of COVID-19. So many meetings have been canceled. But I'm happy that at least with these webinars, young people will still have a platform to discuss and, and promote development ideas. So basically the UN is having so many online sessions that I'm encouraging you to engage in. The UN Youth Envoy has a session on mental health for young people, and the last session was on June 3rd. You can visit the UN website, the UN Youth Envoy website, and see the other opportunities that lie in there. And these are open to young people around the world. So you are encouraged to follow, because the COVID-19 affects youth, children, women everywhere in the world. And it's important that your voice is also heard. You don't keep quiet and remain left behind. You need to be part and parcel, and you have a platform right there that you can utilize. Then the UN Secretary General has also released a number of policy briefs, which are very, very important. He has released policy briefs on children, migrants, food security, human rights, Africa, debt, women and girls, and increasing violence, in the homes, when a lot is happening within homes. And so all these guidelines are provided in terms of the status right now. And as young people, you need to be conversant of what is happening around the world. Those documents capture, they give you statistics, they give you ideas, they give you solutions of what is being done by the UN around the world. And for violence against girls and women, I think you can also be champions where you are by starting out social media engagements, webinars like this that would focus on issues around sexual reproductive health. I think this is part of the agenda that is there with the in the TI Moon. But I think you can do it better and engage more people to start discussing these issues and finding solutions from where they are. I know this event comes a day after the World Environment Day, and we know there is a very good relationship between nature and our livelihoods as people. So as young people, you are encouraged to engage in social media campaigns during this time when most of you are at home, to volunteer, to donate to charity, and to become innovators. How do you volunteer? We have, for example, an ongoing campaign called Verified Campaign. This is a campaign on misinformation. Even around this disposing of face masks, disposing of plastic bottles, and all the issues that you can create information that is going to be trusted, but you need to verify to make sure that it is verified. And you can join this campaign and help to champion some of the ideas that will help to save lives in our community. In conclusion, I see that coronavirus disease has taught us to stand in solidarity against a common enemy. If we can do this against coronavirus disease, we can do this against the issues that are challenging young people. We can come together in solidarity and identify the challenges that you have as young people and then tackle them together by raising voices, but also by looking at the step-by-step ways to resolve some of the challenges that you are facing. And then also, of course, this virus has helped the environment. It has not just come negatively. Now people are traveling less, and as a result, we find that people are sitting in these Zoom meetings, Google, discussions are happening, and this is helping to save the world because there are no emissions going on. Maybe this is a way that as young people, can we see how the world is going to transform in the days to come? It's good to travel, it's good to meet, it's good to engage, but also to see some of the solutions that we are going to have. Maybe this is a better way of saving our environment from all the bad emissions that are happening. And then I think we all need this paradigm shift. It's essential, but I'll leave that to the key speakers to speak about it in detail. Just know that from the UN, we are led by the UN Environment Program, but we also have UNIDO, which is the UN Industrial Development Organization, working on energy, but also UNDP, working on issues around poaching and environmental issues, sustainability of water catchment areas and things like that. So we have a number of projects going on within the UN to help young people, but I think what we need to discuss here is the agenda. How are you going to be engaged in it? And I would leave that to the speakers who are going to follow now. Please also note that we have so many activities going on globally, which you can join in. There's the UN Interagency Network on Youth Development, which is calling for partnership and ensuring that your voices on COVID-19 are heard. I would share these resources with you now, which I think would, would share the links for you to be engaged more. I will also share the share verified link so that you can be engaged in what, in handling that misinformation. And also on the UN 75, we have a lot of resources. I will share again the website links with you now so that all of you young people can get resources, that you can always use, and you can also share your stories from where you are. It's important that you are heard and you are doing something that is really transforming the world. So continue convening these meetings to discuss the other areas that you'd like to, that have been raised within the team concept. Use your time wisely, respectfully. You have to discuss respectfully. Sometimes when you have, discussions and engagements, you have to also wait to hear, the ideas that are being shared. You need to share current information that you are receiving, and I wish you a very fruitful meeting, fruitful discussions. I know this has been long, but maybe because we haven't seen each other and I've missed you a lot. But I wish you all the best. I really, youth are at the heart, in my heart. I really wish the best for you. I know this is a very confusing moment, but we should not accept to remain confused. We should move out of this, this box. And as young people, we can do more. We should just think in different, dimensions. Just think about other things that we can do during this moment. Even using social media, I think we can do so much. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Max, for giving me this platform, and to Philemon. Congratulations once again for organizing this event, and to the speakers, karibuni sana. And for all the other people who are not from Tanzania, I welcome you. Tanzania is a beautiful country. I hope that you will find time. We hope that COVID is going to come to an end and you will come again and enjoy. And I believe this time you will see so many things, because for some time the tourist attraction sites have been, just quiet and cool, and the, animals are just enjoying themselves out there. So you will have a lot to see when you come to Tanzania. Karibuni sana, and thank you very much. Stella from UN Information Center, I will share the resources with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Stella. It's usually
welcome.
You around.
I hope it was helpful.
Yes, it is indeed very helpful. But I believe you've introduced us to the next topic already. We are going to be speaking about the World Environment Day commemoration, which usually is done on the 5th of June. To take this opportunity, first to thank you for also inviting us, and thank you again for sharing the resources that we could be using, the links, and maybe we could find some few things. And we all welcome the other fellow youth in order together to push the youth agendas forward. Together, I believe we can join hands together, and I believe UNIC has been helpful to the youth agendas always. It's a place where we usually run to, and please don't get tired of us. We'll be coming more and more and more for more and more information and the resources. Thank you, Madam, and please stay in touch, because the discussion is coming next. There's a place somewhere you would need to chip in and give us some more experience, some more ideas. Thank you, Madam Stella.
Thank you.
It's my honor to call upon Ms. Rebecca Muna, who's the Executive Director of Forum CC. To be coming to speak with us a number of other things, including the commemoration of the World Environment Day and the involvement of the youth in circular economy paradigm. So please, Madam Rebecca, wherever you are, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Max, and thank you, everybody. My name is Rebecca Muna. I'm working in Forum on Climate Change, Forum CC Tanzania. And I'm glad to be part of these conversations. And thank you for organizing this particular time. It's the right time to discuss these issues. Again, I'm also glad that you were able to invite and attract youth across Africa, because this agenda is concerning all of us, youth of Africa, and Africa is in my heart when it comes to climate change. There's so many issues that really Africans need to really get out of the box and start, this conversation to make sure that we are living in a safe and sustainable globe. So thank you very much, youth of United Nations. I've participated in various sessions, Timon sessions, so I know how they are being held. And I will try as much as possible to be brief, because I am one of that people who really love to hear from youth. I want to hear how they express themselves. I want to see how they look their future. I want to see how they're organizing themselves now for the future. I don't know how minutes that I have, but I will try to be very brief, because I know the open discussion will bring me back to come back to some of the concerns and issues that will be raised with our youth. We have, as Forum CC, we have been one of the, before that, thank you, Stella. Thank you, Stella, for your opening remarks. Thank you very much. We have done with you several engagements, and I was glad to hear that you'll be speaking today. Yeah, World Environment Day. World Environment Day commemoration is one of the events that Forum CC have been organizing and coordinate various actors in Tanzania at all levels, from the grassroots level to the highest level, to make sure that we are part of the global movement and contributing in terms of addressing various issues relating to environment. And we used to have a lot of physical activities, but given the current situation of which Stella alluded at, we adopted a different mode this year. We said, yeah, despite of the COVID-19, we will still do our contribution. We had a number of activities online, essay competitions, and things like that. And I believe this session today is part of the World Environment Day commemoration. So I wasn't really prepared to talk more on World Environment Day, because it's a kind of common event that we all participate and contribute to. But I just want to make one call for youth of Africa to take advantage of these global events and platforms to express our concerns and think the solutions that we would really want to bring forth when it comes to environment issues. So I would just briefly talk about that, and I think it's not really something that I will need to focus on. One thing that I want to focus on is the issue of circular economy. Truthful, this is kind of a new, like a new thing in Africa, and this we all need to appreciate. It's kind of a new, like, it's a paradigm that Africans need to adapt to and see the opportunities that come with a shift. We are part of global movement, and we are integral part of this change, of which African youth need to be part of this. They shouldn't be left behind and take advantage of this paradigm. And COVID-19 actually taught us a very big lesson. So as Africans, again, we need to really make sure that we are ahead of time and take advantage of COVID-19, in as much that the impact is immense. And unfortunately, we only look at the negative impact. But for me, I'll add Africans to look it as an opportunity. the way Africans have responded to COVID-19 is a wake up. It's a wake up, and it's a challenge to youth. Now African can see differently and act differently, and we should take advantage of the lessons that we have learned from the COVID-19, of which has a lot of implications and bearing on the way we do things, the way we develop the models, the way we prepare ourselves for the future, job opportunity, and the way we want to handle our future. This is very important for the youth today. The way you think, which area should you take, which skills should you do, should you build skills, which experience you need to accumulate in order to be relevant despite of any pandemic that will arise in the future, because they are saying COVID-19 is one of those who would emerge, and the sure ones are the impact of the climate change. Climate change is going to hit us big time. So the experience that we have learned from the way we have responded to COVID-19 has to prepare us for the long-term effect of climate change. You know, this COVID is kind of short-term pandemic that we need to respond, but the impact of climate change is long-term and it's there to stay. So we should also look at that and prepare ourselves how we can manage our future and prepare today for tomorrow. And when we look at secular economy, I don't want to define it, I don't want to give it integrity. Max, you know me, I like people who prepare themselves before they come to any conversations. So I assume all 70 participants who are here have done their homework. I believe you have read about secular economy, you have taken interest on youth issues relating to secular economy, so I don't need to go into that. But I want to emphasize one thing, the way you look at secular economy is not only looking at how to eliminate waste and sustainable use of resources like reuse, sharing, and recycling. That is very important. And not only looking at, you know, curbing the negative impact of the linear economy. So sometimes you see people look at circular economy as a response to the negative impact of the linear economy. Rather, it is important for the youth of Africa to look at it as a systematic shift that builds resilience, that builds long-term resilience that will bring business and economic opportunities and will provide environment and social benefit. For me, this is very, very important to look at this shift that will help us, and we need to be part of building long-term resilience, business models, economic activities that are sustainable, and take advantage of opportunities that come with it, and make sure that whatever we do provide environment and social benefits. This is what I wanted to emphasize on. By saying that, I want to go a step further, looking at what's the role of youth when we want to take advantage of secular economy, building on lessons that we have learned from our response to COVID-19. I see many things that youth can take advantage on and play a role. The first one is, I call it software, where African youth, they need now to advocate for our education system to be tailored, to be skills that will help us to be competitive in the secular economy. Because as I've pointed out, most of the curricula in most of the schools in Africa, you know, we'll talk about theories, I don't know what and what, but we need to advocate that the education system build our skills, practical skills that will help us to respond to dynamics that will arise in environment that we are living in. So for me, that is an advocacy point of view to make sure that there is a movement in building youth skills. Not number of degrees, not number of masters, but we want degrees and masters which really have very effective skills in order to take advantages of this paradigm shift to the secular economy. For me, that's one of the biggest agenda that youth need to carry forward. The other thing I want to point it out, and that actually is one of the lessons learned, we learned from the effect of COVID-19, to make sure that we take advantage and see how youth can play a real when it comes to data and digitalization. This is very important, data and digitalization. Africa, one of the biggest challenge is data. Another thing is digitalization. I've participated in several these virtual meetings. Always we lose 30, 20 minutes trying to connect. For me, that is an advantage of African youth to take, to see how we can make this digitalization effective in Africa. The connectivity, despite that we have these improved telecommunication, we use fiber nowadays, but still we need creativity and innovation to make sure that data and digitalization is improved in Africa, of which it can be business opportunities that I've said the circular economy should take us to generate business models and economic opportunities that youth can take. So opportunity I see in Africa, in Tanzania in particular, is the area of data and digitalization. The e-marketing now is coming up in Tanzania and in Africa, of which we need that African youth, Tanzanian youth, to be able to take advantage of this and create business platforms, develop business models that will help somebody in Singida or in Twara, in one of the districts in Cameroon or what, to be able to use this platform and in terms of business transactions, delivery, and the like. For me, that's one of the areas that I want to emphasize. The other thing of which I see youth role in today's paradigm shift is to have a campaign for consumer perception change. How can we change the perception in terms of using the products that are coming up in terms of reuse, sharing, repair, and recycling? Because Africa, we believe we are a community who strongly held with beliefs and norms. So how can we change that? Because when we say that there are business opportunities and the like, we need also to build and capitalize on the demand side. If we become innovative and coming without different models, business models, products, and if the consumer perception is not changed, it is really a challenge. So this will be a role of youth in terms of making sure that there's a movement of changing consumer perception, particularly the demand part of it, breaking out the norms and beliefs to create a facilitative environment for this business. We become innovative, but also we need to have consumers that will be part of that transactions. The other issue is the issue of functioning marketing for waste and recycled products. In as much that we convince everybody to do recycle, reuse, and the like. If there is no market, there's no point of hassle, and actually no one will really be interested. So how can we push the policies, regulatory framework to make sure that there is a strengthened market for these products that are coming out from the circular economy? Because, for example, to what extent in our stationaries we'll find reusable papers. I remember there was a time we need to do printing, we couldn't get one printer that will print us our material on a recycled paper. For me, that is an opportunity. That's an opportunity that needs to be promoted, and is a business that needs to be taken forward. The other thing is renewable energy is part, for me, part of the circular economy, of which is needed to be added value, to create value, and again to promote it in order to facilitate. If we launch processes for recycling this sustainable product and the like, and yet you don't have sustainable energy and power in that process, it means you are not addressing the problem holistically. There are a lot of opportunities when it comes to renewable energy, of which it will help us in terms of achieving the circular economy processes when we are developing products. So for me, these are like so important role that youth can play in Africa. And I will urge African youth, get out of your box. Get out of that box. Invest. There are no easy things that will come on a silver plate. It needs hard work. It needs research. And don't expect immediate benefits. Sometimes when you want to engage youth, they want to get rewarded on the spot. And that limiting the level of the way they will go further in terms of learning, in terms of gaining experience and building skills. For me, I see opportunities that need investment, not in terms of time, not really money, because youth are capital, capital which need to be built now, but you also need to invest on yourself to make sure that you are exposed, you gain skills, and you are informed. And this is the message that I want to send out. Learn new things and get prepared at any stage. Don't just take this circular economy as just a broader theme of this meeting today, but at personal level, you should also ask yourself, is it something concerning me? Is it something that can create my future? Is it something that I can create business? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself. It's very unfortunate we have graduates at home for 2 years, not employed. They're saying we're not getting jobs. Why there are so many opportunities that comes with circular economy. So I urge you to look at things differently, and the world is changing so quickly. So you need to be part of this and make a difference. I will end there. I will come when the questions are raised. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Rebecca. It's usually an honor to have you around. Literally, you have so many things that you can share with the youth. And thank you for letting us understand what are the opportunities that are in the circular economy, and what is our role as youth, and what can we do to make sure that everything else moves smoothly. I believe all the youth have heard you. There's a lot of other opportunities in this sector. Most especially, you've urged us to take keynote on the technology party, because everything now, as it seems, after the effect of COVID-19, most of the things have gone online. So that is one of the keynote take home for us. And I believe most of the youth have heard you, and they're going to be like taking a number of other parts to make sure that that is well done. So I'll welcome you again once the questions start. In the meanwhile, I will have to go to the next session. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate, and we congratulate you for the good work that Forum CC is doing to make sure that our world is a better and a safe place for us all to live, and the next generation to come. Thank you very much, Madam. Saying so, now I'll make one announcement, and then we'll continue with the next session. as I spoke earlier, we have 2 more people to be speaking, and then we'll have a little session of question and answers. So there's a chat box, and some of you have already raised their hands to make sure that they get the chance to ask the questions. Saying so, there's a chat, then you can just raise your hand, and the host will make sure they take note of you, and then later on you'll be given a chance to ask the questions. Another announcement is in this group here in our session today, we are also honored to have one of the key people that made UNA a strong organization. The few people who were basically the founders of the organization, the Youth of United Nations. It's usually an honor to have him around because he's been a brother and a mentor. He's one person who sees youth and sees a number of other opportunities and mentor them to make sure they achieve the goals and the things that they want to achieve in life. So I'll take this opportunity to recognize the presence of our dear brother Togolani Mavura. Thank you very much for having taken your time to come and at least listen to us. I believe later on you will share your ideas with us. But in the meanwhile, even if not in this group, but at least you can send what you've seen, what you think can be done to the organizers, and then we'll make sure that it reaches to all the other youth that are going to be attending the event. Thank you very much, bro. We appreciate you, and please continue supporting the youth agenda. Please continue supporting the youth so that we all achieve the things that we want to achieve in a life. Thank you very much, brother Togolani. Saying so, I will be taking you to the next presenter. This is our fellow youth. He goes by the name of Badru Juma. Badru has been an active youth before. He's been there for a very long time. He's worked in a number of other youth agendas, and he's an active one. We are happy that we have him. Currently, he's working with UN Global Compact in a number of other youth agendas. And so he's here to share with us a number of other things, including speaking of the circular economy in relation with Global Compact. So I'd like to take this opportunity to call upon Mr. Badru Juma Rajabu. And Badru, please be brief. I know you, my brother, you're good with the microphone. Because time is not my friend. I'll give you 10 minutes exactly. Welcome, Mr. Badru.
Thank you so much, Mr. Max, for the wonderful moderation, and thank you so much as well for supporting this cause. But also, before I start, I would love to recognize our dear guardian. I saw Madam Stella, even within our opening remarks. You know, if we were meeting physically, maybe I could have asked the congregation to offer her a standing ovation, because she was able to welcome us, and she was able to offer us that kind of support that every young person needed at a certain stage. But also having people like Ms. Rebecca Muna, she's someone who is very inspirational, who has been working and done so much on environmental issues. So even further to this meeting, maybe we need also to engage with her further, because she has a lot for us as young people. Then to my dear friend and from Matala, I'm also glad to recognize your presence. And then lastly, our brother Togolani Mavura, who has been championing the youth agenda, but someone who has set for us a foundation to where most of us we went through and we're still going through. So you're most welcome, brother Togolani. So I've been asked to share briefly to briefly share on how young people have been affected by COVID-19, but also to share as well what we are doing as UN Global Compact in areas of circular economy. So by name I'm Badru Juma Rajabu. I work with the UN Global Compact as a program associate. But before to that, I served as the Secretary General of the Youth of United Nations Section of Tanzania. So it's somewhere I'm proud to say that UNA is one of the platforms where every young person across the country should go to and we should be proud of that. So having Team on our conversation here, so it's something that also we need also to encourage other young people to join this movement. So just to Maxi, I would just like to share my just a few slides, if you could allow me. So the host could, I wish the host can disable me to share my screen. Oh. Are we together? Yeah, so I just want also to share briefly the effects of COVID-19 to the young people, but then I will dwell much more on circular economy. So with the outbreak of COVID-19, there are a lot of things that have been affected. You know, what we should remember is that even this year, before last year, the UN celebrated and launched the UN Decade of Action, meaning we had from last year we had about 10 years toward the road to 2030 and implementation of SDGs. So when you talk about implementation of Sustainable Development Goals, it goes without including the young people being the engine, being the champions of driving the agenda. So you can just imagine even before COVID, we are lacking enough resources that could drive and could make sure that we realize the agenda 2030. So with the happening and occurrence of COVID, it means that we are hit more further, you know, not only young people, but also even other sectors, other generations, they also been affected by and large. But also there's the issue of unemployment that has been raised even by the first speakers. So recently the ILO released a report, I think it was just a few days back on 27th of May. And the report stated that more than, out of 6 young people globally, more than 2 young people have lost their jobs because of COVID-19. But also we can also take it further, even to our localities where we are living and where we are staying, you know. So even the young people whom we could see moving around our areas, maybe selling groundnuts, selling little bites, they've also been affected, you know, because we no longer see them, but also they also used to earn a lot, something maybe from the activity that we are doing. So, but also I've been also lucky to have led one of the rapid response a survey with the UNDP and ACRIF, UN Global Compact and Tanzania Private Sector Foundation. But it showcased a lot of challenges and a lot of sectors that have been hit directly by COVID-19 in Tanzania. And one of the sectors is tourism. You know, tourism is one of our activity that also brings in a high and huge percentage of GDP to our country. So with the tourism being hit, we recognize that there are very many young people are involved in the sector. Others are tour guides. Others are offering maybe services in hotels. Others are also they have managed to open up their tour companies. So when the industry is affected, it means everyone involved in that sector is also affected. But also it goes even beyond because they have dependents. So we cannot also neglect talking about the young people in the tourism sector. But also even other sectors, even agriculture has also been affected. However, there are also opportunities that come up with agriculture. You know, the only effect is that agriculture depends largely on transport and logistics. So it means when the transport and logistics is also affected, even agriculture itself will be affected. So we could also see whereby other countries that close their borders, restricted movements, no flights to different destinations. So there are some commonalities in terms of COVID-19 and youth and unemployment. So I understand much has been talked even the effect of COVID-19 to the young people. So I just want to dwell much more on circular economy and the good thing is even Ms. Rebecca Muna has also shared some milestone in terms of circular economy. So I just want to share with you just a brief introduction, but also highlight on what UN Global Compact is doing in that area. but also the opportunity that come up with the circular economy. So in short, we're going to look into what circular economy is, and why companies are moving to circular economy from linear economy, and that's part of the work that UN Global Compact is doing globally. But also how do companies get started and call to action? So the call to action part will be both for us as young people, but also as other stakeholders, businesses. So when we are speaking about circular economy, it's as Rebecca mentioned earlier, it's not something that is conversant to the African societies. However, to a larger extent, there are companies that are ahead of time. We are talking about the companies that are linked to the global market. They're already implementing the concept of circular economy. So in short, I've tried to define it in the easiest way that I understand it. And we are saying that is a new way of looking at relationships between markets, customers, and the natural resources. But also, we are saying that circular economy moves. We're moving away from the traditional take, make, dispose economic model to one that is regenerative by design. In most cases, what we're doing and what we are supporting is a recycling. So when you're talking about circular economy, is a bit different from recycling. But also, we're saying that circular economy pushes business to rethink the ways how they can create value. So later on, we shall look at how business can create value out of circular economy. But also, the concept has been integrated within the product development, production processes, use and reuse systems right from the beginning to where the consumer is also affected. But also, we're saying that we have the concept also go more than to keep products, components, and materials at their highest utility and value at all times. So, talking about circular economy, in the natural world, what I could say, in the natural world, there is no something like waste. You see, if you visit even the forest, a leaf that falls out of the tree is used to generate fertilizer for the trees, but also other mineral nutrients that you can form in the soil. So it's food to the soil and also to other products. But also we are saying that eliminating the concept of waste with materials ultimately re-entering the economy at the end of use as defined valuable technical or biological nutrients. Currently we are operating within a linear economy, and we are not yet there to circular economy. And for the linear economy, the characteristics are take, make, and dump. So waste is not, we normally dump waste, but in a circular economy, where we normally have like technical nutrients, we have biological nutrients. So it's a living ecosystem whereby it sounds itself circular. So there's nothing like waste, but with the linear economy, we've got a lot of waste. So I wish maybe one day we have some other colleagues, some young people who are very much conversant with the circular economy, and they're already doing business. And also GIZ in Tanzania is supporting circular economy, because one of their models they have currently is even the staffs, they take the waste from their homes to their offices. And imagine there's someone who comes up from Germany to collect the waste takes to Germany. So you can just imagine maybe how much we are wasting. We call it waste, but maybe you never know, it could be resource to other elements and other materials. So, but also one of our partners is known as Ellen MacArthur Foundation. They are leading and championing a circular economy globally. So UN Global Compact happened to be one of their partners in some projects on resource efficiency. And they say that net materials cost saving of about 340 to 380 billion per annum in the EU and 2 trillion at the world of economy. So we're talking about the US dollar. So this is a lot of money that many African countries, our country, Tanzania, many companies, they are losing because they've not tapped into the already ongoing concept of circular economy. So what are the elements of circular economy model? Here we are trying to look at the keep resources in use for as long as possible, but also extract the maximum values from products, minimize disposed residual waste, recover and regenerate products and materials at the end of the service life. So I was going through one of the story on mobile phones, and according to the recent statistics that I came up with, particularly in Tanzania, we have around 43 million mobile subscribers in Tanzania. Even the number could go as high as possible, meaning that almost it is almost half of the population, or more than half of the population in Tanzania, they are mobile subscribers. But have you ever asked yourself the mineral material that are used to generate or to manufacture phones? So what I can say, maybe with people who are using iPhone, uranium is one of the components that is used highly. So what other countries they are doing, even like in Sweden, for instance, what our partner network is doing there, they are supporting companies to come up with a circular economy policy, but also to come up with circular economy strategies. And one of the companies that is also leading this intervention is working on, I think it is already running. So for them, currently in Sweden, you cannot own a mobile phone. What you can do, you can lease. Maybe the reason being is because maybe you could ask yourself, maybe within a year, how many mobile phones you're using. And maybe up to, like within a rate of 5 years, how many mobile phones have you used? And how many have you, like, gotten damaged? And even if you take for repair and, the technician cannot repair it, but also what you can do is to transfer some of the spares to another mobile phone. So at the end of the day, you find like you're creating a lot of waste, and the waste that maybe cannot even be decomposed, but also waste that you don't know even where to take. So what are mobile companies doing, like country like Sweden, what they're doing, what you need to do is, if you have a mobile phone, you cannot own it, but you can just lease, meaning you can just spend maybe some few money for it. If you want to buy another mobile phone, you just go and return the mobile phone that you had earlier. So the companies can take it more into other, they can deform it into other products. So just trying to give you a long example of what circular economy is, and maybe you can pick something. So, but also, what are the guiding principles of circular economy? We are saying that one of the guiding principles of circular economy is preserve and enhance natural capital by controlling finite stocks and balancing renewable resources flow. But also, the second principle, we are looking at how we can optimize the resources used by saturating products, components, and materials at the highest utility at all times in both technical and biological cycles. So what we're working on is also linked to this is we're helping companies, we're helping businesses on resource efficiency. We're looking at the resources. Resources that we're having currently, they are diminishing day in, day out. And one of the resources that we're looking at the UN Global Compact is water as a resource. So we are supporting companies, even individuals, to make sure that day in, day out, we use a little amount of water we have sufficient. And maybe this is also an opportunity to also challenge you. Maybe, do you know how much, do you know how many liters of water used maybe to have a shower in a day? Probably there are few people who could be able to tell how much water they're using in a day. But also maybe some fact that can help us think even beyond. I wish you did you know maybe how much, did you know maybe that it takes around 35 liters of water, to manufacture one bag of cement. So that's one of the global standards for manufacturing the cement. So it needs 35 liters of water to produce only one bag. So, but for most of our companies, even in Tanzania, in a day, they produce up to maximum of 5 tons, even more than 5 tons. So you could ask yourself how much water we are using. But also in areas of resource yields, even in terms of water, we are, even Tanzania, 50 years from now, we are likely to be a water scarcity country, just like other countries like South Africa is one, even Ethiopia. So bringing the light of such an economy, we are saying that everyone is part of the process. Even you, young person, my fellow brother and sister at home, maybe it's high time now you have to regulate the amount of water you're using, even if you're not paying rent, but you just have to be cautious for the future generation to come. But also foster system effectiveness by revealing and designing out negative externalities. So this one has been already mentioned by the first speakers. There's no need maybe to dwell in too much. But also, what are the significance and benefits of such an economy? We're looking at increased growth. With such an economy, it helps businesses, it helps individuals to increase on their growth, because most of the products they are using, their life cycle is is kept on moving. There's no end in terms of a product. So meaning that even raw materials are also generated into the same system. But also cost of reduction. It reduces cost of production. When a company, when a business, when an individual gets a material, you just have to make sure that maybe it can be recycled, but even it can go beyond recycling, because you see, not every product can be recycled 100%, because we are still lacking behind in terms of technology. So we have to also be much conscious of the products maybe that we are buying in order to decrease on the cost, but also increase supply chain and resource security. So when talking about circular economy, we are still meaning we bring the concept of supply chain. There are very many key players involved in circular economy. Even just a small concept of recycling. We have even those guys who are picking the bottles, from the dumping sites. They are also part of the process. But with circular economy, we have to bring an aspect of decent work for all, a decent labor for all, but also eliminating like a child labor. Make sure that at least everyone is earning something. So with circular economy model, it also enhances the growth of the supply chain in terms of resource and security, but also innovation and competitive advantage. This has also been mentioned by Madam Rebecca, that even young people, we need to be as much as innovative, when it comes to circular economy, but also during this period of COVID-19. Reduced energy consumption and carbon emission. So what I can also mention is that from the UN Global Compact, what we are doing is mobilizing businesses and companies locally and globally to contribute and resources in terms of carbon emission. In fact, that even some of their countries, companies have already started paying for the carbon emission that they are raising in terms from their operation that they are running. So they are paying as much as possible, but also they are audited in terms of the emission that they are causing to the community, to the environment. Even companies that are not are yielding a lot of emission, they're also contributing something, because they're operating in a business environment where when the environment is hurt, we all are likely to be affected. So sorry, I'm trying to rush because time is also not on our side, but I also share this presentation with you in case there will be other questions. I'll be available via my social media, via my mobile number, via the email to respond. So this is one of the outcomes of circular economy. Yeah, so you can just have a look on how it is, but also why are companies are moving toward the circular economy. One, we are saying like there are opportunities that are there, reduce the operational cost, it improves competitiveness, strengthen relationship between customers, employers, providers. So these are the components of circular economy. We cannot work operate in an island, but there are also other key players. But also the principles we are talking about circular economy, you have to consider durability, renewability, reuse, repair, reduced material use, upgrade, replacement, and so on and so on. There are also other risks that occurs with circular economy. So these are some of the things that maybe you need to take some of your time to make sure that you go through to master something. But also we are saying that circular economy is possible if you get critical success rights, where we have to circular pilots, such we set up a circular company, but also circular platform. And the opportunity that I see with circular economy is we as young people, even from today, we have a good champion like Rebecca. She's also more conversant in environmental issues. So maybe from this session, we could also come up with a circular economy, a working group for the young people. And there are very many other stakeholders who can join the board and support. Maybe we have a friend from Tara. She can also be part of the circular economy working group, because at a global level, these are some of the things that young people already are driving. Maybe it's high time we can also be on board. Max, in conclusion, I just want to sum up with a call from the World Health Organization envoy on COVID-19, Dr. David Navarro. He said that during the current pandemic, we have to learn how to live, with Corona, but also we have to learn on how to work with the Corona environment. So thank you so much for having me, and I'll be just around to listen. If there are any questions, maybe I can try to address some of them. Thank you so much, Max.
Badru, thank you very much, Mr. Badru. It's an honor always to have you around. One youth champion who's always pushing forward youth agenda. Thank you again, Badru. We'll have another session with you when we get to the question and answers. Now, without taking much of your time, I would like to call upon our last presenter today, Haikaeli Arakaona, who's the coordinator of Tanzania Recycles Association. This person is going to speak to us on a number of other issues, including giving us the real experience on how we can do things on the ground. So welcome again, Haikaeli. Please, the floor is yours, and you all have 10 minutes. Thank you, Haikaeli.
Hello. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Yeah. Well, Haikaeli Raphael Kaona from Tanzania Recyclers Association. And may I take this opportunity to first thank the previous speakers who were very much with a lot of very crucial points to pinpoint and highlight how youth can be strong and become normal to adapt the new normal as a result of the COVID-19. And also, I would like to talk a little bit about TARA because this is the new association. It has been here in Tanzania for almost 6 to 7 months now. It is well registered and it is with more than 30 members who are registered. Although I believe there's a number of other waste managers and waste recyclers and environmental lovers who are there. And I believe with this number of stakeholders and group of youth who are listening to this meeting, it will give a rise to more numbers of people who are responsible in conserving our environment, at the same time want to recycle our wastes and make a valuable commodities or properties for that matter for, like the society of Tanzania to use. And for that being said, I would like to say TARA is like an umbrella that associates waste managers, environment conservation people or personnel, and waste recyclers to represent their matters, to be heard, and to make the future generation more healthy and with the technologies or solutions which are more friendly. And TARA has the vision to inspire and advocate people to conserve their environment at large. And we have a plenty of sectors within waste recycling sector. We have people who are recycling plastics, metals, electrical wastes, as they say, e-waste. And we have people who are recycling tires and also glasses. So we have various sectors which are very important to our general use of, things or valuable things to our society. Now, as my fellow speakers have been stipulating the effects of this COVID-19, especially to youth and involvement of youth in circular economy, there's not much to add, but rather than to say one of the principles of circular economy, as Badru has said, there are more of them, but to the recycling part is to make sure that we treat, we recycle, or we reuse whatever is necessary to be used so that we can have a sustainable life or a freely environment which is more healthier and produce a profit out of it. Now, to Tanzania Recyclers Association, we had some of the challenges to our stakeholders. Or members, and the online survey, which is basically aimed to identify the challenges which are there following the COVID-19 pandemic. And we had a number of issues that have been reported so far. And these reports, this survey have been introduced or initiated as one of the initiatives for TARA, as we see the recyclers have some challenges. Of course, before COVID, we had some challenges, but then after this rupture of COVID-19, every part of the world or every sector of recycling part have become more pronounced on. Now, before the pandemic, it was, okay, an average way of doing this kind of business or this kind of things of recycling and save our environment. What if right now the health status is in a disturbing and a very crucial part of us is to protect the health of the people and at the same time the environment? What can we reuse which is more safer for the health of people? So as TARA, we thought quickly on the major plastic waste which is found within our environment, especially in the growing cities like Dar es Salaam, the plastic bottles. So we created we initiated at least the simple use of plasticky water bottles to create face shields. I know we have already heard about it, just a simple part of it, but it was really a challenging thing to start thinking and implement this thing, because most of us, we were based on the type of waste bottles to be collected, and then how can we use, is there any specific kind of a water bottle to be used to produce face shield and some sort of those questions. But at the end of the day, we specifically trended the typical kind of bottles which were useful for a trial out of the first face shield that was made out of ice water bottles and with a piece of rubber and elastic band at the round of the head to make the support out of it. So at first it was very challenging as TARA, as a new association, and try to convince to members or our fellow members or other innovators who are there to adapt the technology. But then it was very supportive when one of our members, Aid Recyclers, I hope you have already knew about them, who are basically 100% paper-based recyclers, but then they have 60 and put a quick eye on the face shield businesses that, the idea of the business itself. And then they tried to, partner with TARA and grab the opportunity and make the better versions of face shields using the simple sheets of plastic. Now, this means that African youth or even Tanzanian youth have to have a sharp eye on whatever challenge has to be posted on the environment. Now, the effects are many. Some of the tourists have failed, especially our tourism sector, have dropped a little bit in terms of finances and incomes, but also some of our youth, they used to do part-time while they are in their institutions. Some of our youth also, they failed to get physical or get more physical in the exercise at school. But then how can we overcome all this is by staying polite, but more relevant to the situation which is there, and make precautions and the measures which are there to make us more healthier and becoming even more creative to adapt on the new normal situation of COVID-19. So in short, I would like to talk a little bit on the innovations which are going on and on around the world, and especially in Tanzania. So far, Tara, so we used the opportunity of making the first shields out of the recyclable water bottles, but then the innovation is continuing to even becoming more strong because some of the members, they are coming with the new ideas on how to strengthen the idea and win the East African market, Southern African countries market, and also worldwide. Therefore, as Tara, we have initiated this, but it's also an opportunity and a platform for youth innovators who has a passion in the environment, but then who has the passion to save healthiness that will convince partners, members, and development partners, any of them, to give their money and fully fund their opportunities, their ideas. So to me, COVID-19 and to Tara, and I believe to all of us as a Tanzanian, give us the opportunity to raise our ideas and be put into actions and not just theoretically. And I would like also to encourage most of the IT personnel, IT professionals who are youth, to continuing adapting the app methodology, as in technology. There's a use of animation. People can be educated through animations. People can be educated with arts and visual aids as pictures. But also we could use so much of these colored plastic bottles, who are so many in our streets, to create a protective shields within hospitals. Therefore, there's so many ideas in recycling sectors, and I just wish to be more part of involvement of youth, because I'm still one, and I have a passion with them, so that we can move forward and have a better sustainable new normal of COVID-19. And that I've seen.
Hi, girl. Hello.
Is or groups who are doing yes. Yes.
I think you're experiencing some
Hello,
technical
Max.
issues. Yeah, yes. Now we can hear you. Please sum up 1 minute, and then we can
Hello?
have some.
Yes. Am I still? Can you? Yes. Am I
Now,
still on?
yes, yes.
Hello? Yes.
Aika, can you still hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, please wind up in one minute.
Okay, thank you. So in winding up, I would like just to encourage youth to become even more innovative, and also Tara has a platform to welcome you. As you have an idea, we can connect you with stable and even more members or stakeholders who are responsible to make your idea grow in terms of recycling, but also in terms of conserving the environment. And yes, I think that that's what I can say, and then being thankful for giving the opportunity, and I wish for the best for all of the discussion that is coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, hi Kyle. Indeed, it's been a nice session with you. Thank you for taking your time to come and share a number of other things with us. We
Yes.
appreciate. Thank you for keeping inspiring and telling us that more and more you should engage in a number of other issues that include technology. I see technology keeps on coming up. So I urge my fellow youth to make sure that, take part somewhere to make sure we all preserve the world, and so that we are able to live in a better environment for us and for the upcoming generation. Now, I would like to also thank the previous speakers for such a wonderful session. We are going to sum up. We only have like two sessions. One is an experience. We have someone all the way from Cameroon. We have a testimony, and this is coming from someone, Daisy Njoguo. I hope I pronounce your name rightly. Thank you. We'll have a preview of a video, a short video that she's made. And then after that, we'll hear from her just for 1 minute. What has the Cameroon youth have been doing towards these things? Please take your time to preview the video.
University provides all these for free, and it can only continue to do so if it's in abundance, but at the moment it's getting degraded. We talk about climate change a lot, but biodiversity loss is also a significant issue. Over the years, activities like pollution, deforestation, overexploitation, and more keeps reducing the variety of life on Earth. The coronavirus pandemic is an important reminder that our world is one, connected and intertwined. The coronavirus, like other diseases, are facilitated by human actions on nature. So it's time to take a global action and take care of nature more than ever before. With some simple changes, we can as individuals lessen our harvest impact by reducing, reusing and recycling our waste, turning to renewable sources of energy by implementing sustainable agricultural practices, using environmental friendly products, just to name a few. This is a crucial period and we need to collectively take care of nature in order to avoid further world pandemics. Happy World Environment Day. I am called Daisy Jongo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm called Jongo Daisy, and I'm a youth from Cameroon. Yesterday was celebrated as a World Environment Day with the theme biodiversity. I was inspired by great environmental advocates to come up with this little piece to join my voice to the many voices in the world to talk about our environment. And I seized the opportunity that the COVID-19 pandemic is giving to us, because right now all campaigns are online and everybody is at home and they are watching us. So that's why I did this online campaign. As I made this video, I was called by our Ministry of Environment. So the video drew the attention of the Regional Delegation of the Environment of the Southwest region of Cameroon, and also a private television in my country also broadcasted this video. Also, it's also a great opportunity for me to share this video to everyone here. It's really a humbling opportunity for me to get my video here. And I'll also plead on all youths to please seize this opportunity and make great videos to talk about the environment, because truly we are the voices of tomorrow. And together we can make our voices heard to bring about nature protection, environmental conservation, and a lot more. So once more, thanks again for this opportunity to share my video with everyone. I'm your humble host, Daisy.
Thank you very much, Daisy. It's really a good thing to see some of our youth are really taking actions towards protecting the world at large. Thank you. I believe Cameroon is very lucky to have you. Thank you for taking your time to prepare the video that you've just shared. with us. Thank you for airing out your messages. Together we can make the world a better place. So thank you all for having taken your time to take a preview on her video. Well, I believe we'll be seeing more of these videos when we meet again for the TI Moon session, when the platform is on once again. Now, because time is not in our hand, we'll take few questions from few people who had raised their hands. And so I would love to call upon Abdul Sahir for the first question. Please be precise and be brief, so that and go straight to the point, so that the previous speakers can all hear the question and they can be able to answer. It would be nice if you also direct your question directly to a person who want to ask. So please, Abdul, if you're around, please, you can now ask your question. Abdul, is Abdul around? Okay, it looks like Abdul is not online. Most probably he's facing some technical issues. So anyone who's got a question, please can you raise your hand, and then I'll allow you to ask the question. I'll take the first two questions, please. There's a chat downstairs. You can just raise your hand, and then the organizers will see that, will tell me to ask. I will allow you to ask the question. Anyone who has a question, please. Our honorable delegates. If there's anyone else with a contribution, please raise your hand. I've been told McDonald has got a question, so please, McDonald, the floor is yours. McDonald, if you can hear me. Doris, please, now it's your time. You can ask a question. McDonald, please. Okay, is there anyone with a contribution? Oh, Doris is here. Okay, welcome, Doris. Mambo.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I hope you're having a good afternoon. Well, my question goes to the lady who taught us about, to Haikaeli, sorry. She talked about Tara. I want to know how Tara works, and if somebody becomes a member of Tara, how does that somebody become like, how is the platform be of an advantage to a member in case the member wants to receive grant and all that? And to the stakeholders, do they like fund the organizations, or do they find individuals? Thank you.
Thank you, Doris. If Haikaeli is around, can you please respond to that question? Haikaeli, please. Well, I think Haikaeli is currently not online, so most probably would pass your question to her. I'm going to just repeat what you've said so that I make sure that I get you correctly. Haikaeli is here. Okay, please, Haikaeli, please. Haikaeli? Is Haikaeli online? Wait, yeah. Aikael is not online. Well, we would pass the message to Aikael, and then we would see on how we can get back to you with the answers. I believe the host have got your email. They will be sending you the answers that will be coming from regarding the TARA, on how it works and what could be the membership. How can that someone join TARA, and if they can, if they anywhere, any place they provide support financially for the people to do a number of other of their projects. I believe these were your questions to Haikael. We'll send these ones, and then she will have a chance to reply back to you. Is there anyone else with a question? Honorable delegates, the floor is yours. Whoever has a question or any contribution regarding what we've been discussing all this time, I believe now is the time. Well, silence sometimes means yes in a court of law. So I believe we all have understood clearly what we've been fed on, the materials that have been said before. If there's anyone else with a question or any contribution, now will be the time. Before I call upon Madam Potensia Nuhu, just for the closing remarks. So please, anyone with a question? Is Mbugi around? Can Mbugi ask a question? Yes, Njugo. You have a question? Please ask.
Lake Chuma msomi wa shahada za mili katika somo la sanaa. Ambaye pia ni hodari wa utengenezaji wa maumbo mbalimbali kwa kutumia chuma na plastiki chakavu katika eneo la chuo kikuu cha Dar es Salaam. Hali hii inatokana kwa mwanamke na licha ya changamoto zinazomkabili katika kazi yake, Safina anaonyesha namna hiari
Njugo, you had a question. We're waiting to hear from you. We can't hear you. I think there's a technical fault. Can the technical team work on unmuting Njugo, please? Daisy has a question, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, once more. I would like to find out if a company is moving from a linear economy to a circular economy, do they need to change their entire staff and get new ones, or do they need to just train them? Please, have you gotten the question? Hello?
Yes, would you please?
Hello? If a company is moving from a linear economy to a circular economy, do they need to change their entire staff, or they need to stay with their current staff and get them trained.
Oh.
Okay, thank you, Jugo. I believe your question is directed to Badru regarding the linear and circular economy.
Yes,
if a
sir.
company is moving from linear to circular, is it really a must for the company to change all the stuff? Badru, can you respond to that if you're online? Badru? Badru? Okay, we'll also pass the question.
Challenging and unmuting myself. So,
oh, Badru is here.
Thank you so much, Job, for your question. And I just want to let you know that at times it is quite expensive to shift from linear economy to circular economy. But what you can do is you don't have to change the entire stuff. But at the smallest level, you just have to be conscious of the material and products you buy. Maybe it's a gradual process, because even to companies, we are advocating them to move to circular economy. However, there are challenges they are facing in terms of equipment they are using. They are quite very expensive. The technology is quite high and very expensive as well. So what you can do is today, from the smallest level, if you're going to supermarket, you're going to the shop, we are meaning how to start up maybe from changing the entire system, but the step by step. Hopefully I've answered you, and if not, maybe we can have this conversation more further. Thank you.
Thank you, Badru. Thank you. Now I would love to call upon Ms. Hortensia Nuhu, who is the chairperson of UNA, Youth of United Nations Association, for the closing remarks. And then I would welcome again the coordinator to make the last few announcements on what could be our way forward towards our coming Tanzania International Model United Nations General Assembly. Ms. Hortensia Nuhu, wherever you are, please, the floor is yours.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Ms. Hortensia. Please go ahead. Hortensia? Ms. Hortensia, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, we are listening to you, Ms. Hortensia.
Okay. So, okay, let me start afresh. First of all, thank all of you for taking your time to join our first video session. As we were discussing on how COVID-19 has brought effects to the involvement of young people in circular economy. As we all know that COVID has affected different sectors, especially those sectors and programs which there was engagement of young people. For example, the TI Moon that we were about to do it on May, it has been affected because it was a conference which was involving different young people across the world to meet in a place which we were about to share ideas, discussing themes, and coming up with resolutions. But due to COVID-19, we had to postpone it. So Due to COVID-19, also it has made so many things to be seized. And in one way or another, it has affected the involvement of young people. Actually, we have heard from all the speakers and our guests on different issues that have come up during this pandemic, but we are glad that still there are these platforms that we can share our ideas and thoughts on what should to be done, especially by using these online platforms. So I would like to thank all the guests and speakers for giving us this wonderful session, giving us education and informations about circular economy, but also as the coordinator of TEMUN 2020, Mr. Philemon Mwereka said, soon the new dates will be announced as we are waiting as we are waiting to the approval from the government. And we hope this year Moon will be amazing. So we can't wait to host all of you. So we just have to wait. And soon we will announce the new dates for TMON 2020. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Ms. Hortensia Nuhu, the chairperson of Youth of United Nations Association, for that briefly closing remark. Please, I would love to call upon the coordinator of TIMOON 2020, Mr. Philemon, for such very few brief announcements, and then we'll be closing officially our event for today. So please, Mr. Philemon, whenever you are, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Max. I really appreciate for everybody who take his or her time to join this wonderful TMU 2020 visual session, the first session. Thank you for all guests of honors, Madam Stella, Madam Rebecca, Madam Haikaeli, Mr. Badru, and everybody who take this opportunity and joining this visual session, but also the moderator, Mr. Max. I really appreciate for taking your time and facilitate this great visual session. But also last, it's my pleasure to extend my sincere appreciation to my team, my organizing committee, an incredible team of vibrant young people from different backgrounds jointly and dedicatedly working together to make this thing happen. Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters. And with no doubt that alone I'll not be able to make this thing reality. Substantive department, communication and publicity department, logistics department, I appreciate for your time you have taken to make this thing happen. We are going, we all remember that we have been dedicated to among various dedication and thematic area. I would love to remind every one of you to make sure that you proceed with your research with the specified thematic area that you've been assigned, but also with specified delegation, with specified country that you've been assigned. Make sure you proceed with your research concerning that thematic area with the affection from COVID-19. And I spoke earlier that we are going to have a visual session with different thematic area. So for the next one, the next session will be for next week. We'll be sending you the email again, and we'll be discussing about the youth role in advocating sexual reproductive health and right and gender-based violence. So for those delegates who are being assigned to find the research for that thematic area, please be aware of that, and we have another wonderful session from another great speakers, youth speakers from inside and outside of our country. But as I said before, TMON 2020 has not been cancelled. It has been just postponed. Let's wait for good time because God's time is the best time. Let me finalize by saying this quote. Don't be afraid to charge the price that measure the quality of your product or your service. Because when you are greeting the craft, the world will adjust. You never lose a deal because you're expensive. You just don't believe in your value. Even you can reduce your price and give ridiculous discount. They will still jump you and buy more expensive than you. Because the conversation, my brothers and sisters, is about quality and value and never about the price. This is the type of mindset that we should have in Africa, particularly young people. We need to shift the conversation from price, but to quality of our offering and the value that we provide the space that we find in ourselves. Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters, and wish all the best and have a lovely weekend.
Well, thank you very much, the coordinator, Mr. Philemon Muleka, for such wonderful words of encouragement. Now we believe in you, we have faith in you, that you take us in a proper direction, and we believe this event will be a success one. Taking my time to thank sincerely everyone who has participated in this event. Looking forward for such more upcoming events. Thank you to the keynote speakers for such wonderful presentation, for bringing about materials and sharing them with the youth so that we can all further the agendas. Without further ado, announcements. Thank you, the organizers, for having trusted me to data today. Well, I believe in the future we have more and more things to do. And as youth, we all can come as one and make sure that we preserve our world and make the world a better place for everyone. So thank you very much. We'll meet again on the next session. Gracias. Ciao.